What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Properties and Pour Overs podcast. My name is Adam Colburn, and today I have a very special guest, my friend Linda Holtz. What's going on, Linda?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on, Adam. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for giving me some time to share your story. And so, just to introduce yourself to our listeners, can you tell me where you're located in the country and what does your business look like currently?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Adam said, my name is Linda. I'm in Houston, Texas. I've been here about 4 years now. Originally, I came from Europe, and my current business focus is multifamily properties.
Amazing. Awesome. And how long have you been in real estate specific?
Yes, so right now when I say multifamily, it's like the commercial size and side
Hmm.
of real estate investing. I actually started investing on the residential side. My very first property was a multifamily, but it was a triplex.
Okay.
Um, and so that we acquired my now husband, then boyfriend, and I in January of 2020.
Gotcha.
And so that was our first step into investing. But before that, I actually got into property management in 2015, which was kind of my entry into, not my entry into investing, but what gave me the confidence once it was time to jump it with both feet.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And so what brought you to property management? Like I'm always curious on how people find their lane in real estate. Like how did that come about? Was it just kind of a random job posting or were you that was kind of the easiest entry for you to get into the space? Kind of expound on that for me.
Yeah, it's such a funny question. So it was a random job posting thing. And so
Hmm.
the funny story is that the lady who recruited me, who was the vice president of my branch at the time, of my office, sorry, and my branch was three offices. So she eventually worked her way to being the president of the whole thing. But she recruited me when I was like, she was basically in charge of HR for a little office of like 12 people.
Hmm.
And I got called for a customer service job.
Okay.
And so what happened was when I first moved to the US, I was in sales for about 2.5 years.
Hmm.
And eventually I moved, I found my way in Chicago and I was like, well, I don't really want to do like I was doing door-to-door commission sales.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't really want to do that anymore. What can I do where I'm going to use my people skills? Because that's all I had.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple of degrees, but I was not using them.
Hmm.
And so entering property management through customer service was my way of being like, I have no clue what this is, what this office does. I don't really understand what property management is. But if I have to answer the phone and there's AC during the summer and heat during the winter and I don't have to walk all day, I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. It
That's
definitely
kind
beats
of how
out door
it happened.
knocking. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
Very
when she
cool.
first called me and explained where she was calling from, she was like, "Yeah, you sent your resume." I was like, "Did I? Okay, I'll come." And here we are.
Nice. That's cool. And so how long did you stay in that specific role? Um, and then kind of your eyes open, you're like, hey, I want to start investing myself. Because you said 2015, right? And then
Yeah.
to get to 2020, like were you kind of making your way through that company, like moving up the ladder,
Yes.
or what did that look like?
Yeah. So I was a customer service rep for, I think, about a year and like a couple of months. Then I became an assistant. And once I became an assistant, I was fast tracked into getting my license to become an actual manager.
Okay.
And once I became a manager, my first job in as a property manager was portfolio. So I already took care of multiple properties at the time. And and I would say it's probably so at that point I became a manager at the end of 2016, I remember. And I probably started listening to like bigger pockets maybe a year or two after that.
Okay.
Reading all the books and listening to all the podcasts, not just bigger pockets, but that was definitely the main one.
Hmm.
And so what happened was, yeah, I just kind of got the idea of if I could manage somebody else's property, I could manage my own. But
Sure.
really what happened was I just wanted to be an owner. And at the time, I didn't know if I wanted to invest here or in my country. And my family, I remember my family came to visit, and my uncle was like, it's much cheaper here, you should buy here.
Hmm.
And around the same time, a mentor of mine was like, well, if you're gonna buy here, you should house hack. So like you should buy something where you can live in one apartment and rent out the others. And that's where the investing came from. It was really just me thinking, I want my own place. Where do I do it? And then once deciding that I was going to do it here, if I'm going to do it, then I might as well do it smart.
Sure. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so I know you mentioned you're from Europe. Where specifically are you from?
Yeah, originally I'm from France. Very
Okay.
close to the border with Switzerland is where I grew up.
Awesome. And so what brought you to the States originally? Was it for school or for a business opportunity?
Yeah, it was for school. And so I was only supposed to be here for the summer, but the following year I was supposed to do my like an internship basically.
Okay.
And I figured, hey, let me do the internship for 1 year. And now it's been 13 years. I'm still here.
It's funny how that works sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. And so you're having to decide between investing back home in France or here in the States. And all the advice you're getting is like, yeah, investing in America is way easier, way cheaper. So you jumped in and
Yeah.
you got that triplex.
Yeah. And again, like I said, real estate, property management really gave me the confidence to jump in because I
Sure.
already knew so many vendors. I already knew so many other property managers.
Yeah.
I already knew like a lot of like, how to do it and all that here that I didn't know back home. So
Sure.
that was also another reason why I was like, yeah, if I'm gonna house hack and have tenants and do the whole 9 yard, I might as well do it where I have experience in that field.
Yeah, no, that's super smart. And I mean, that's a great segue into it because you do have the relationships. You understand how all of the maintenance requests work and all that kind of stuff. And so, which can be overwhelming for somebody just jumping in and be like, hey, I'm going to go buy a rental, right? Listening
Yeah,
to those same Bigger Pockets episodes and be like, all right, this is what they say to do for financial freedom. And then you get a call at 2 in the morning that a toilet's broken and like, oh crap, what do I do now? And so having that,
exactly.
yeah, having that experience is huge. Cool. Okay, so you get the triplex and you house hacked, I assume. You lived in one, you rented out the other two. How long did you guys stay in that triplex before you started to expand your portfolio?
So that's another funny way of how it happened because it was kind of by accident. So for me, when I bought that triplex, I thought this is it. Like I'm gonna own this forever. I'll
Hmm.
probably buy more eventually, but this one will be like my baby. And it's really
Right.
not how it happened because we bought it in January 2020, and unfortunately by March, the city shut down, and everybody was sent to work from home. And well, I didn't because property managers were essential, but my husband did. So he kind of became the live-in property manager even during the day.
Right.
Um, and we found some great renters, but we also found some not so great ones.
Sure.
And so within a year and a half, we were like, okay, we have gone through hell and back and then heaven and back with this property.
Yeah.
And we feel like we're ready to move and we're ready to continue real estate. So we might as well be in a place where it's real estate friendly and it's business friendly. And ideally for me, I was like, if we could also never see snow again, I wouldn't mind.
Totally. I
And
understand that.
so that's how we ended up in Houston. And so I called my realtor who had found me the house and I said, hey, we're moving. Can you find me a property manager? Ironically. And she said, are you crazy? Like this is 2021, it's a seller's market. If you're moving, you have to sell the triplex. So we ended up selling because it was like the perfect timing ever, even
Sure.
though it was not planned at all.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you sold the triplex and then you moved to Houston. Do you guys start investing in rentals right away, or is that when you started to pivot more into like, hey, let's go after more doors, right? We already have a handle on this. Is that was the next step into the multifamily?
So it did take a couple of years. First so the goal was to do another triplex for quad
Okay.
because the goal was really like every time we purchase, let's make it like a little bigger, I guess.
Sure.
Um, but always on the residential side, I don't know why I had that mental block of like, yeah, this like we cannot do five because it's commercial, as if it was like I don't know some sort of like fire you can't touch it, like.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
but but it turned out that triplexes and quads are not that easy to find in Houston. Like they exist, but it's not like in Chicago, the triplex we had looked like a house from the outside, but
Right.
inside it was 3 units. That's
Hmm.
everywhere. And it was a lot, many more single family homes and duplexes. And so
Yeah.
for me, I was already in that mindset of, I'm going to leave property management. I don't know when, but my goal is to be out in the next, by the time we moved here, I wanted to be out in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
And so my thinking was if we do one house at a time, it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
And so we did get into it a little bit, and then we took a break to get married. But eventually we were like, okay, if we really want to scale, what are we going to do? And it was around the same time that we saw an ad for a multifamily mastermind group. And so we went and we were like, yeah, that's it. The rest is history.
Nice. That's awesome. Cool. And so are you guys actively investing in Texas? Are you guys looking in other markets? Like what's your buy box for multifamily?
Yeah, for sure. So we do love Texas. We do love the Texas Triangle, being in Houston. We love San Antonio. We love Dallas. Those are like markets that we like because, again, my husband also worked in property management back in the days. Like both my mother-in-law and sister-in-law are property managers. That's
Wow.
kind of how we met.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, so because of that, we like to be close to our properties. We like to be able to be on the asset management team. And then, of course, Texas is a good market, right? Like Houston is can be tough on insurance, but and as a state, property taxes are a little bit high, but you find a lot of good deals.
Sure.
And so because of that, we like to be here, but at the same time, we don't close ourselves. Right now, we have a property in Oklahoma, for example. We're working on something in North Carolina. So shout outs to North Carolina.
Yeah.
So we're
Backyard.
definitely not closing ourselves.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, go where the deals go. That's I kind of have the
Yeah.
same mindset, right? Like, is it nice to be able to drive by it? Yes, but it's also like if there's great cash flow and it's in a great area, like why would I say no just because I need to get on a plane to go see it? Right.
Absolutely.
So cool. So tell me a little bit about your team. Like, what does that look like? Is it just you and your husband right now? You keep it lean and mean, or do you have like VAs or other staff members as you guys are building out your portfolio?
Yeah, so right now it's just me and my husband. We do have a part-time VA, and as
Okay.
you know, being in Owners Club, we're definitely looking at bringing on an executive assistant. But I believe it will end up being that VA will just move her full time. We'll see.
Yeah.
But for now, it's just us two and a half, I guess.
Okay, that's awesome. And so what is the kind of the breakdown of roles and responsibilities, right? Like, are you more on the acquisition side and he's more on the stabilization or vice versa? Like, how are you guys complementing each other in your business?
Yeah, so my husband loves market research, like that's his big thing. I
Okay.
used to do a little bit of underwriting, but really not as enough to call myself an underwriter.
Sure.
Believe it or not, all the deals that we have worked on have come to us through relationships. So
Okay.
we used to, well, we have relationships with brokers, like from time to time we'll look at a deal that just comes straight to us.
Hmm.
Um, but we're not on the acquisition side, is the bottom line.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
We're both on the asset management, but maybe a little bit more me because I used to like do it more recently, and also
Hmm.
because I have more flexibility during the day than he does. But he's all about like finding the great markets for us to look next, and or whenever we get an opportunity, diving deep into like, okay, what does it look like? And then together we're also on the investor relations side for sure.
Gotcha. Awesome. Very cool. And so obviously you mentioned that we're both in Owners Club together. And Pace has kind of charged us with this Mount Everest, this big goal that we have to chase over the next 3 to 5 years. What is your Mount Everest?
Yeah. So my Mount Everest is related to the fact that my mom has been a nurse my whole life. And so when I was younger, she kind of pivoted. She used to be a how do you call that? Psychiatry nurse. And when I was younger, she kind of pivoted to geriatric care. So my first student jobs were always in nursing homes.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of saw, yeah, how elders are treated and how much they pay to be treated like that.
Yeah.
And you know, to each their own. But for me, I always kind of thought like one day I'll buy a big building and my whole family will live in it. Like
Sure.
like old, new, oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so because of all of that mixed together, my Mount Everest is that I actually want to open the first multi-generational affordable elder care facility. And my goal is to bring seniors who need an affordable place to stay and have them live on a property that's being ran and the elders are getting the care from younger adults, either aging out of foster care or maybe because they have a special skill like being in medical school or nursing home school. And so those younger kids are also getting affordable rents for living on site and taking care of everyone and everything. And then the seniors, it's kind of like more of a living mentorship where it's like pass the baton, don't be by yourself. Be
Yeah.
with other seniors, be with younger folks, and share the wealth, everyone.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. I love that vision. That's super cool and so necessary on both sides, right? Because I think the two kind of avatars that you just mentioned, like seniors in nursing homes and then children aging out of foster care, are so often overlooked. And if you
Yeah.
can bring them both together, provide value to each other, and then also offer somewhere affordable for them to live, like, man, that is huge impact. I love that. That's super cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about it. I believe it will be the first based on all the research that I've done when I was putting up my business plan. We'll see if somebody beats me to it or not. But that's really my vision is like bring a
Yeah.
place where everyone can learn from each other at the end of the day.
I love it. Yeah, that's super innovative. Really cool. Really cool. And it's kind of like a business incubator, but not just business, right? Like just life skills and building those relationships. That's super cool. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, if we take it to the next level, like my real true vision is to have it on like acres where, the younger adults would take care of like growing stuff and we'll have animals and yeah, I'm ready to take it to the next level. There's different peaks, I guess.
Amazing. That's so good. I love it. That's awesome. Well, cool. So you've been in business for a little while, right? You've worn many hats, and obviously entrepreneurship is not without challenges. Can you describe a unique situation that you've seen yourself in, right? A challenge that you've had to overcome, whether it be early on in your business or recently, and kind of the mindset that you had to reach to overcome that challenge?
Oh, that's such a good question. I feel like I could take this so many different ways. If we want to keep it like practical, I guess. The funny story that I like to share is that I got catfished by my tenants. So there was definitely a situation where somebody came in, toured the property, signed a lease, everything looked great on paper, and then it was someone else who moved in.
Oh, wow.
And it was someone else who moved in where it wasn't as nice of a situation, and I had no paperwork on them, so I could do nothing about it
Oh, no.
except, obviously evict the person on the lease. But whoever moved in did not seem to care about that part. Even though it
Wow.
was their mom, by the way.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was, yeah, my husband always jokes that we don't know for sure, but he always jokes like she probably did that because otherwise they would live with her. And she was like, no, I'm willing to go sign a lease for you to move out and do you.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
so
that's a
that's like the
dedicated mother.
practical,
Sure.
I know, right? That's
Yeah.
like the practical story where it's like, yeah. And to this day, I don't know what I could have done different, but
Hmm.
because like I said, everything looked good on paper, right? Like I called the job and I background checks and criminal history and called the previous landlord and all of that kind of stuff. Um, but it is what it is. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
And but if we want to stay a little bit more on the theory mental side, one thing that I did not expect getting into multifamily and like larger deals was really the mindset that you have to have. And so this year, I would say probably for the last 12 months, I have definitely had to kind of face my own limiting beliefs, my own fears. Like, how Pace always says, the magic is in the stuff that you're avoiding, right? Like, I know somebody else said the quote, but he's always reminding us of that.
Sure.
And so, yeah, those are definitely the things that I did not expect because I was like, I just want to buy buildings. And then eventually it turned into, oh, well, to buy buildings, you have to build a business. And it's like, okay, I'll build a business, right? Like I'll go into social media and marketing and having entities and stuff like that, even though that's not what I wanted, but it's part of it. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, if you're going to be a business owner, there's actually this whole other layer
Yeah.
of like mindset that you also have to face. And yeah, that one has definitely been the funnest of all the rides, I guess.
Yeah. Definitely. Always another level, right, for your personal
Yeah.
development. That's really cool. Well, awesome. Linda, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, maybe they're working a deal, or just wanted to hear more about how they could provide value, maybe jump in on an investment with you guys, where can they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. If they're working on a deal, especially. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. That's kind of where I started building my brand. So Linda Holtz there pretty easy. I post pretty much every day. On Facebook and Instagram, that's what my VA does. So you were asking earlier, what are the roles? She's definitely
Okay.
social media as long as it's not LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So over there we're M2 RETX. The company is called Married to Real Estate. So M number two RETX for Texas. And then our website, married number two realestate.com. Over there you can find our emails, phone numbers, both for me and my husband. And then we also run a weekly meetup for commercial real estate. So the link is on there too.
Amazing. That's awesome. I got one more question for you. If you were
Yeah.
to think back, maybe back right before you started that property management company, or just early on in entrepreneurship, right? You're either talking to a younger version of yourself or somebody that's brand new and wants to get into this space. What's that one piece of advice that you'd leave them?
Ooh, smell the roses. Enjoy the ride. Like, don't focus on the destination, just embrace all of it. There's going to be great days and there's going to be terrible days. And I think it's all part of the journey for sure.
That is very wise and 100% true. Yes. The highs are really
Thank you.
high, the lows are really low for sure, but you
Yeah.
just got to stay on the ride.
I
Absolutely.
think the important piece is to not want to rush because during the bad
Yeah.
times you will want to say like, oh, if I could fast forward, like no, that's where my husband and I always say smell the roses. It's like one day you will have it all if you persevere enough and if you do what you have to do, if you focus on the efforts, the
Yeah.
results will come. And then you'll be like, well, I miss the days when my problems were different. So
Right.
enjoy.
Absolutely. No, that's so good. Love it. Linda, thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until the next one, I will catch you later. Peace.
Awesome. Thank you so much.